Greetings, loved ones. If you have just discovered that your child or a child you care about has been sexually abused, it may feel as if your world is falling apart. But there is hope. Other caring adults have been where you are. Today we continue our series on caring for sexually abused children. Help us get these messages out. Please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Hit that like button and notification bell, and please share these messages with others. You could save a life. So let's touch on the subject today of discovering abuse. What should a parent do if sexual abuse is suspected? Although it is not easy for a concerned parent, it is important to remain as calm and as supportive as possible. A parent should not grill a child for every detail or ask numerous questions. Reassure the child that he or she is not to blame and ask a few gentle, open-ended questions or prompts. For example, tell me more about that. Who did that? Where were you when that happened? Parents may contact a mental health professional with expertise in child trauma, or alternatively, a pediatrician may help parents determine if their suspicions are reasonable. Also, every state has a child protection agency that will take a report and launch an investigation if warranted. Many states have laws that require persons who have reasons to suspect child abuse to report their suspicions to Child Protective Services. So let's ask the question, is it common for children not to tell even their parents that they've been abused? Delayed disclosures are common and are not a reflection of a poor parent-child relationship. Sometimes children will say that they didn't want to hurt or upset their parents because they love them so much. Child sexual abuse is, by its very nature, secretive. It almost always occurs when the child is alone with the offender. And an offender may directly threaten physical harm to the child or beloved family members if he or she tells, or coerce the child with promises, gifts, or other verbal persuasion. It is common for children to blame themselves, fear punishment, or be afraid that they will not be believed. And a child, they may feel embarrassed and ashamed. The avoidance, which is part of post-traumatic stress reactions, may make a child simply try to forget what happened. Many children who have experienced sexual abuse grow up before they tell anyone about what happened. So let's discuss healing and recovering together. So does every child who is sexually abused need treatment? At the very least, sexual abuse is very confusing for a child. Often there's an investigation that requires the child to speak to a police officer or other professional, and it is helpful for parent and child to have support from a mental health professional and assistance in understanding the abuse and reactions to it. In many cases, a child may not need lengthy, intensive therapy, but it is helpful for the child and the parent to sit down with a trained professional and talk through what has happened to make sure the child understands and feels safe talking about his or her feelings. Children may blame themselves or hold other unrealistic ideas or beliefs about the abuse. This is called cognitive distortions, and that needs to be corrected. Parents may also benefit from talking to a professional who can assist them in overcoming the distress naturally associated with discovering that their child has been sexually abused. One approach to treatment involving parents and children that has received considerable scientific support is trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy. There is increasing evidence that with support from a caring adult and high-quality treatment, many children and parents effectively recover and may feel stronger and closer as a family in the aftermath of a traumatic experience. According to the CDC, over half of all children in the world, that's 1 billion children, ages 2 to 17, experience violence every year. So the question is not if you will encounter a victim of violence. The question before God is, what will you do when you do encounter them? You could be the person who saves a life. Micah 6:8 says, He has showed you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. You are called. We are all called to be champions for justice. There is a way out. It is not your fault. Abuse is not love. You are not alone. And if you're suffering violence today, please reach out to somebody. If you find yourself in a dangerous situation, Call 911 for help. If you know of a child or other person suffering violence, tell the authorities. In our next episode, we will continue talking about how to care for sexually abused children. Until then, God bless you.